The views and opinions expressed on the following program may not necessarily reflect the views of the staff, management, or board of Hope Media Group and KSBJ. It's what's happening around us, in our town, suburb, city, in our community. It's Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee on 89.3 KSBJ.
Hello and welcome to Community Beat, where we're keeping you tuned in to the topics that are impacting our local communities and helping them thrive. I'm your host, Kim Kasi McKee, and today we'll be talking about a time-honored tradition in our city known as Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, taking place February 28th through March 19th at NRG Park. The mission of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is to promote agriculture by hosting an annual family-friendly experience that educates and entertains the public, supports Texas youth, showcases Western heritage, and provides year-round educational support within the community. We're honored today to have joining us Chris Boleman, who's president and CEO of Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Welcome, Chris, and thanks so much for joining us.
It is great to be with you today, Kim.
Awesome. Well, Chris, may I begin by sharing just personally of my own experience having attended the rodeo last week. You just have to know that your team is doing such a wonderful job in walking out your mission. Had such a wonderful time at the rodeo with one of our featured artists, Lauren Daigle. One of my biggest challenges was deciding what to eat at the carnival. Just so much to choose from, and just seeing all of the fun, festivity, family activities that are available. So talk to us about the rodeo.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do it. And first of all, you can eat whatever you want out here. My wife is a dietitian. She has already told me that the calories don't count in March when you're out here. So you can keep that in mind.
Believe that. How
Yes. But obviously the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is a tradition in Houston where this is our 91st show.
Wow.
And so we've definitely come a long way. 91 years ago, it started with 5 cattlemen sitting in a hotel restaurant in downtown Houston, where they were trying to figure out how to promote their livestock. Believe it or not, Houston used to be big cattle country, even where we are right now, believe it or not. And even on the outskirts of Houston today, you'll see there's lots of ranches and lots of cattle. And they're trying to find a way to promote their cattle, and what better way than to start a show. So it started with just the livestock show. And like anything else that happens at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, it just grows from there. And so over the years, lots of things are added: a rodeo, a carnival, shopping, entertainment, the whole list, and until we get to where we are today. And you mentioned the mission when you started, but I can't stress enough how important it is for people to understand that the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo starts with promoting agriculture. And in a community like Houston, the 4th largest in the nation, considered the most diverse city in the United States, we are committed to making sure people that come to our show understand and realize the importance of agriculture in their daily lives, from the food they eat to the clothes they wear. And so that's one of the things that you'll see when you come on the grounds here, whether it be Ag Venture by Oxy, or fun on the farm outside, or watching the livestock show and the horse show. We want folks to really get an appreciation for agriculture and how it impacts their lives. You couple that with what we do for education. Everyone says out here it's for the kids, and that's so true, Kim. When we think about our show, we're up to, believe it or not, over $575 million in giving to the youth of Texas through scholarships and premiums. So it's just, that's what we do here, and it's such a great place.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. Some people who maybe have never experienced a rodeo on this scale have no idea of the magnitude of this thing. Tell us a little bit about that. The personnel, the volunteers, the animals, just.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do it. You know me, you'll get me going here and I can talk forever. But, the thing about our show, and just talked about the mission, but the other thing that separates us apart and makes it all possible is the fact that we have 35,000 volunteers that serve here at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Amazing.
They give their time, their talent. They donate to us to make sure we can do all the great things that we do. There's 109 committees at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and they're from, it could be recycling, it could be gatekeepers, it could be transportation, Rodeo Express, to more auction oriented like steer, lamb, and goat, and we've got corporate development, and everybody does their part. It takes every single committee to do their thing for this to make it work. What I tell a lot of people is that when you come to the rodeo, I promise you the first people interaction you're going to have with anybody is going to be a volunteer. Our livestock kids, when they get ready, they are out at 288 and 610 at our offsite facility before they come on site. That's the Breeders Greeters Committee, and they help them, welcome them here, and then even our folks that come on grounds that pay a ticket, they're going to go and meet our gatekeepers when they get to the gate. Everybody here is a volunteer. And so in addition to that, in addition to the volunteers, we have 140 full-time staff. Of course, we have temporary staff too, seasonally, but between the 35,000 and the 140 staff here, that's what makes this thing happen. And we wouldn't be able to give the dollars away that we give if it wasn't for the 35,000 volunteers. And it's not just for these 3 weeks, Kim. It's year round. I mean, these guys are raising money and doing programming year round to support this community.
Wow, that's one of the questions I was going to ask. What are some of the things that the volunteers do? I mean, 35,000 of them. What a coordinated effort that must be.
It is. And like I say, every little piece connects to another piece. And so, and of course, that's all a domino effect as well. But for instance, we'll have 35,000 or so, or almost 40,000 now, livestock exhibitors. In other words, kids coming from all across the state of Texas to show their goat, to show their steer, to show their heifer, whatever the case may be. And it takes a relationship with the volunteers when you walk through the center to make sure that they're safe, to make sure they can get to the arena. As the public are coming through, you'll see that happen to keep things separate so nobody gets injured or hurt and the animals are secure and safe, to the commercial exhibitors and the fact that we have all this shopping and vendors that's overseen by a commercial exhibitor committee of roughly 500 plus people. And so, again, everywhere you look and you see that gold badge, if you look at our merchandise booths, those are volunteers in there working. All of that allows us to utilize our resources in the end to be able to give those scholarships away, the fact that they're volunteering their time to do it.
One of the things that's so heartwarming about the rodeo is its investment in youth, from them being able to showcase their animals to being able to have healthy competition to the scholarships. Talk about that, how you are involved in so many ways.
Sure. Yeah. So as I'm a former exhibitor myself. I grew up in Brazos County, which is Bryan College Station. I grew up coming to this show. The premiums that my brothers and I received from the auctions is what put us through college. So we're strongly connected to the work here. And as you fast forward and look at what happens today, it's just grown since then. We'll give 634 scholarships this year to graduating high school seniors. Those are valued at $20,000 each. We also have made a commitment, Kim, to vocational scholarships in 7 different area junior community colleges, and we're looking to do more in that area as just some examples. What a lot of people also don't know that I want to touch base on too is the fact that this year's total gift, by the way, is $22 million, but over $2.5 million of that is actually given in grants to a lot of different other nonprofits that are doing great work to support their community. That could be the Yellowstone Academy, the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation, Camp for All, the Brookwood Community, the Houston Zoo, and the Houston Symphony. I mean, there's so many programs that we give money to in an effort to support the community so that kids can go. For example, the Symphony allows students to go to their concert series, to learn about the arts. We believe strongly in making sure that we're supporting the community. And again, just another example of the year-round impact because of the 3 weeks that we have here at NRG.
Amazing. You've mentioned several organizations that I happen to be familiar with, and what a gift to know that you are helping to support them in a very tangible way. If you're just tuning in, we are speaking with Chris Boleman. He is the president and CEO of Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. I will say one of the greatest shows on earth, taking place February 28th through March 19th at NRG Park. There's still time for you and your family to go and just have such a wonderful time, full of sights and sounds. It will definitely be time well spent. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't know if I'd be able to say this, but it was worth braving that traffic out there, Chris, to get there. It was worth whatever I needed to do just to get there, because it had been a couple years since I had been, and just to see the growth, it was just tremendous. Year after year, you think, man, this tops it. And then you come back and it's on another level. And so that says so much about your leadership and the wonderful team that's working with you. You touched on this some. Let's just amplify this. Some of the ways that Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo gives back to the community, in addition to just to these 3 weeks of amazing entertainment and family fun. They're giving back in some very tangible ways. Chris, if you'll just reiterate some of that.
Yeah, I mentioned our local grants that we give, and I mentioned the Houston Symphony and the Zoo, but it's also various Houston community colleges, the Ballet Foundation, Camp for All. I could go on and on. I think there's about 60 different entities that we support, including Texas 4-H and Texas FFA, those students. And so we believe strongly, obviously, in doing that and supporting the community in different ways. Another thing that we do that I wanted to highlight, Kim, is I mentioned obviously earlier the 109 committees. We have several committees that actually go into the schools and support agriculture education throughout the year. We have an agriculture education committee, and they go into the schools. They talk about horticulture and gardening. They work with the kids to learn and appreciate more about the Western way of life, and then also about teaching them about agriculture. Our Black Heritage Committee also goes into the schools to talk about the Black cowboy and the history of African Americans and their quest with agriculture and the cowboy way of life. And so we are definitely doing that type of implementation year round, and that's critically important for us. As an organization as big as we are, one of the things that we like to say is that even though we're here for 3 weeks, it is about giving back to the community year round. We're always looking for new ways to do that as well. And so those are just a couple of examples. Kim, if it's okay, I want to circle back to your comment about coming out here, if it's okay. I wanted to talk.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I wanted to talk a minute about how to get here. And so one of the best things to do, particularly if you're coming for the first time, is download the app, the Rodeo Houston app. You can download it no matter what type of phone you have. It gives the latest and greatest news, including the best places to park, the best places to get Rodeo Express to bring you in. There's a lot of different ways that you can get here. They'll talk to you about rideshare drop-offs and so forth. And so definitely do that. And then the other thing I tell people all the time, again, as many people, Kim, as you know, that continue to move to Houston from other places, and they hear rodeo and they have something in their mind. But as you know, this is something like no other.
That's right.
It looks like as this is being recorded, we're gonna easily be over 2 million. We typically have about 2.4 million guests that show up and participate over the 20 days. So I say that to tell you this: make sure you come early. Especially during the last week of show, that spring break week when a lot of kids and families are off. Come out here, come early. If you show up or try to get here at 5 o'clock, it's much more difficult. And also, to be honest with you, you just don't get the full experience. I'm a big believer in coming out here and soaking it all in. If you come out early, you can go through, and of course, you can eat all kinds of different foods. But there's lots of shopping in our center. There's lots of educational exhibits there in NRG Center. Of course, the livestock show is going on. You can't forget about the outside performances. We have a Stars Over Texas stage. There's always activities for families that are going on there. Of course, we have the carnival, a great carnival, large carnival. So there's lots of good rides and games for kids to do. There's over at the NRG Arena, there's some shopping there in addition to the horse show that's always taking place. So I just can't say strongly enough that you want to come out early to get the full before you go into the stadium and have a great experience, a great Western Heritage Rodeo experience, which also always concludes with a great concert. Then after the concert, there's some late night activities around the grounds, including places to go and dance, and the carnival's still open. So I just wanted to highlight that there's a number of different activities that are happening throughout the grounds.
Thank you so much for reiterating that, Chris. And I'd like for you to just tell them that again, because for some people, as you're saying, we have new folks to the city who may be a little intimidated about how to kind of wrap their arms around this experience, beginning with how to get there. And what you shared was just very helpful. So tell us again about that app.
Yeah, again, you want to go to Rodeo Houston, download the app, just type in Rodeo Houston, you'll download it. It does two main things. One is it provides you with some strategies to get here the easiest way, most efficient way. It keeps up with kind of what parking lots are good and where you can park to get here. Secondly, there's maps and there's calendars of events. So you know where you are on the grounds and where things are happening. There's different times where obviously there's different activations that are happening, from Extreme Dogs to Stars Over Texas Stage to Ag Venture presented by Oxy. I mean, there's all type. You can go watch the chicks hatch out of the eggs, which the kids love. There's a petting zoo. And so the app is really the best place. There's a lot to be said by using your phone to help you get there. But the good news is once you get here, you can kind of put it up and just soak in what's happening around you, because you won't get the agriculture and the entertainment experience anywhere else is what you'll get from here. So I strongly encourage you to download the app.
Awesome. That is great information. If you're just tuning in, we are talking about Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo with the president and CEO, Chris Boleman. And we're learning all sorts of wonderful things about the rodeo and how you can be involved, you and your family. So, Chris, tell us, what do you hope the participants, the attendees, what they will walk away with as they have the rodeo experience?
Yeah, man, that's great. I think everybody gets something different out of it, because it's funny. I remember coming as a kid myself and driving home and the reflections that I have, and now I'm here every day, and I work here year round. And even me, when you go to the stadium and the lights go out, and man, it's such a cool experience. I guess if I had to sum it up, I want people to come here, and when they walk away, that one, they feel a sense of their community. I'm a big believer that the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is a place for all. And in a time where we all have differences in opinions and thoughts, and there's nothing wrong with that. To me, this is a place where you can come and just kind of enjoy being a part of the Houston community and a staple of this community, which our show is. I hope too that they leave with I hope they leave full, right? If you should leave here full for sure. But I hope that they leave just feeling good and wanting to come back, and they leave with a greater appreciation of farmers and ranchers, and what agriculture means to the United States of America and to this community. I hope they leave here satisfied, more than satisfied, that they had a great experience, and that they want to come back. And I think another piece of that is they want to come back because they just couldn't do it all in one day. Which I think if you're going to do it all, it's hard to do it in one day. So you'll want to come back multiple times. But again, just a sense of feeling good and a sense of community is certainly at the top of the list.
Wow. It's ironic that you would say that about coming back, because while I was there, I said, I need to come back. That's exactly what I thought, because there's no way you can just fully take it all in at that one. You could do it, but you won't get the full effect.
You'll rush it if you're going to do it. You want to take your time, and that's right.
You will absolutely rush it. So to be able to, and 3 weeks gives you that opportunity to be able to go back a second time or even a third time. And so we certainly hope you will be able to experience this year's rodeo. So Chris, tell us, how can the citizens of our city best support the rodeo? How can we support the ongoing work that you do?
Yeah, that's a great question too. One is be a strong advocate for what we do out here for the community. That's pretty easy. Anybody can do that. And I want people to to be a part and support this show as they see fit in whatever way they can. For some, which is about 35,000 some, it's joining a committee. If you want to get involved in the community, if you're new to the community and you want to meet people and network and feel good about the cause you're supporting, you can go to our website. You can sign up to become a member of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and then you can become a volunteer at our show. And so certainly that's definitely a very intense, in-depth connection and support piece of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Of course, in addition to that, if you're not ready to make that commitment because you're busy, we completely understand. We just hope you can come out and spend a day with us. Remember that what you do out here supports a great cause of promoting ag and of course, for the kids and promoting their educational support. And so we use, obviously, the dollars that we generate from the show to give back to kids and scholarships and through our premiums. And so I strongly encourage you to come out and be a part of it and just obviously be a spokesperson for what I think is the best event that Houston has to offer and the largest livestock show and rodeo in the world.
Wow. Chris, how long does it take to plan the rodeo? Is this something that you do all year
We are already, as I speak to you, there's 4 pages of notes for the 2024 show that's already up on my screen. We start, it never stops. We've started making, things that we could do different that we learned from the first day this year. And, of course, the parade has already happened. The World Championship barbecue has already happened. So we're already planning those events for next year. It truly is a year round. As soon as the show completes on March 19th, our committees will meet with our staff and we'll go over all of our notes to make it better, which is what we try to do each year. And so it truly is a year-long plan to plan for 20 days.
I can only imagine. That's why when we were on the line to connect with you, all I could hear were keys typing.
You did hear that. That's correct.
Before I heard your voice, I heard those keys going on your keyboard. So I can only imagine. So about a year ago, when I was at one of the kickoff meetings, there was a young man there who was a scholarship recipient. And it was so moving just to hear where he is today, having received a scholarship, graduated, I think, from Texas A&M, now working for an oil company, and the list just goes on. Do you have a particular success story you could share?
Well, I think all the stories, there's so many stories. I tell our team all the time, I tell our volunteers, there's a lot of stories we know, but there's so many stories that we don't know.
Sure.
And so a lot of times what happens is we have an impact on folks we don't even know that are happening. I know the gentleman you're talking about because I think I was there with you at the event. I know the story. I just heard a lady speak the other day that's she was great, and she's from rural Texas, received a Texas 4-H scholarship years ago, and now she's a graphics and marketing designer for one of the major comic book Marvels, I think it is.
Wow.
And she's living in Los Angeles, and so you just never know. There's so many. I can't tell you how many times somebody approaches me and says, I'm a scholarship recipient of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and now I'm a professor at Texas A&M, or now I'm running this business here, and I couldn't have done it without somebody investing in me. And there's so many of those stories. Even my own father, I'll just tell you, won a scramble calf certificate here in the 1960s, which got him on a path for his career in agriculture, and certainly impacted me and how I was raised. And so there's just so many of those stories. It's just an incredible place.
Oh, that is awesome.
The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is truly a unicorn. There's really no place like it. I get asked a lot about how can we do what you do at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo? And there's a lot of great organizations out there, but for some reason, it just all comes together here. I think Houston is a very service-oriented community. I think it's very philanthropic. And so, and in my mind, the 35,000 volunteers are really the pulse of this place. And I can never say that enough. I can never thank them enough for all their work. And what I've decided happens here at the rodeo is with our volunteers is this is such a huge community. Houston's obviously a major city. And so we kind of create a small community within a large community. This really does become a city within itself with our volunteers. And within those 109 committees, they're like family.
Yes.
And I always tell people that if they're interested in volunteering here, it's not just a 20-day ride. It really becomes a lifetime commitment. And I'm married to a volunteer. We have so many friends that are volunteers. It becomes our family network. So if that's what you're looking for, this is a great place to be. And we volunteer other places as well, but there's just something different and unique here. And I can't express my gratitude enough for what our volunteers do and the support that they provide and the leadership that they provide to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Awesome. Well, we have certainly enjoyed partnering as one of the media partners for this year's Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. And I tell you what, I was filled with pride and joy when I would look on those big jumbotrons and see 89.3 up on there with so many others that are helping to spread the word and make the livestock show and rodeo what it is. And so we just want to encourage you, if you have not experienced the rodeo, or maybe you have, and you want to go back again to find out more information, you go to rodeohouston.com. And it is a well laid out website. So you'll be able to find all sorts of information there. Certainly encourage you to support the rodeo in whatever way you can, because there are so many lives connected, not the least of which so many young people who we want to continue to invest in their future. And so I just want to say to you, Chris and your team, hats off, no pun intended. Great job in all of the work that you guys are doing. And I tell you what, that's an experience. Being at that rodeo just made me proud to be a Houstonian, proud to be a Texan. And I said, you know what? You never see so many handsome men as you do when you see them with a cowboy hat on their head.
Well, and
beautiful ladies as well.
Exactly. We do have a great partnership with you all. We're so appreciative of that. And that's right. It's a great place, and it's a great place if you're a proud Houstonian. This is a great place to see that in action for sure. So, hey, like I always say, God bless Texas and God bless the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us. And always thank you, our wonderful audience, for joining us. And we hope you'll join us again next week on another edition of Community Beat. But until then, let's go rodeo. I'm Kim Kasi McKee on 89.3 KSBJ.
Thanks for joining us for Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee. Join us every Saturday morning at 5:30 on 89.3 KSBJ.